Hi, and thanks for tuning in to our live radio show. Moments of Clarity with Tiffany will begin in just a few moments. Please stay tuned. Kindly take this opportunity to share this show on your platforms, because change can only come when we stand together as one, especially when it comes to ending the stigma on mental health.
You are not alone, and help is out there.
Kids have mental health issues, and we also need to learn coping skills.
Let's get started and let the show begin. See you soon.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I'm Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host.
Linda and her caring and knowledgeable guests will bring you
We're gonna wait
education,
for the
information, and
radio
resources,
station to
as
start.
well as a shoulder for caregivers.
Looking
That's
forward to my
Connecting
interview
Caregivers
with
Radio with Linda
Yeah.
Burhans, the gal who cares for the caregiver, where you can find
Everyone.
help and hope every Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Ain't it good?
Are you a writer, inventor? Do you have questions about your intellectual property rights? Well, tune in every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 o'clock for Joy on Paper. Once a month, I will have a special guest, the writer's legal eagle, Bill Larson of Larson & Larson, who can answer your questions. Protect your valuable work. Email me your questions to patsy.radio@gmail.com and then listen in every Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. right here on Tampa Bay's Tan Talk Radio Network. That's patsy.radio@gmail.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Warner, licensed mental health counselor in the state of Florida. Moments of Clarity's mission is to educate and end the stigma on mental health through the inspirational stories of our exceptional guests. You can join in the show by calling Tiffany toll-free at 866-826-1340 or on Facebook and Twitter at MOC with Tiffany. Now, here's Tiffany Warner.
Hello, and welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host.
Today, I am going to be talking with someone across the pond in the UK, and has had what a life that I titled this show "The Adrenaline Junkie." Before I formally introduce my guest, I want to say hi to Ed at Tan Talk Radio.
Hey, happy Friday, to everybody.
Ed, hi. The
Howdy.
camera and the audio hasn't been working for just a week or two. How are you doing?
Good. Well, my camera wasn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so
the voice board too. Yeah, last week.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
I
Got
didn't
a
get
new
to see or hear you.
new
for,
board
like,
is installed. Everything's working great.
Okay.
So yes.
So
Boom.
everything's been good for you. Thanks so much for being here. Our guest today is, I'm titling this "The Adrenaline Junkie." He's in the UK, and not only has he done quite a bit, I'm going to formally introduce him, but from hang gliding to sailing around the world, from
Wow.
fighting in the British and American Army, and all sorts of stuff back in the day. And he doesn't even look that old to be able to accomplish all of that.
Yeah, fascinating. Fascinating.
So if you're listening to us on audio, I encourage you to virtually watch us. We're on YouTube at just Googled Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Also LinkedIn Live, Tiffany Warner, Tiffany L. Warner, WERHNER, or Twitter at MOC with Tiffany, Facebook, Tiffany Warner, same thing. So you can see what I'm looking at. Anyway, but also with any live questions, you can use the live chat on the virtual, as well as you can call in at 866-826-1340, 866-826-1340, and of course say hi to Ed when you do. And Ed, you're welcome to chime in anytime when you want to go, you did what?
You bet.
But, Ed, thanks for being here too. And
You got it.
love to catch up after the show.
Yes.
So anyway, my guest today his name is Tim Heale, and having spent most of his adult life under the colors of the British Army, from being an infantry soldier to being an experienced PSYOPS, I'm going to ask what that means in a second, operator on 7 operational deployments. It's given Tim some awesome opportunities. He's played a lot of rugby. For you guys know, that's pretty rough. And his position was scrum half. We'll find out what that is too. He skied telemark and had completed several times at the British Telemark Championships. Tim was a hang gliding instructor, played American football for the Milton Keynes Pioneers, and claims to be a reasonably experienced offshore sailor, having owned 3 boats, and has sailed to the Baltic and back. And he has also sailed around the United Kingdom with just his wife and Artie, the ship's cat. He spent 8 years in the Army as a unit welfare officer for London Central Garrison, and then took part in all ceremonial duties in London during that time. Nowadays, he's retired and spends his time podcasting. He's got his own podcast as well, and vlogging. And he currently hosts his podcast, Ordinary People's Extraordinary Stories, that airs live on many platforms, including Google, Spotify, and Apple. And welcome to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany, Tim Heale.
Thank you, Tiffany, for having me. I've just had a moment of clarity.
Hey, you did that. You listen well. You get the bell whenever. If it listens well.
That's what I do. I'm a great listener.
Well, today I hope not. I hope today you have a great vocalist. I know as being the host, it's sometimes different being the guest. I go through that too. So I would like to hear your story from the beginning. There's such amazing things. So let's go back to, since I had this narrative, you spent most of your adult life under the colors in the British Army, from being an infantry soldier to being an experienced PSYOPS operator on 7 operational deployments. What is a PSYOPS?
PSYOPS. It's short for psychological operations.
Psychological operations, even more pertinent. So what did you do with that?
Well, I was a purveyor of propaganda, lies, and deception. Well, that's how I like to term it anyway. Basically, a PSYOPS operator, it was slightly different from the American Army. We multitask. So I can plan, I can do target audience analysis, I can do product development, I can do product dissemination, I can do the full gambit. My specialisation was in commercial radio. To that end, I go out with what we call a radio in a box. So it's like a 50-watt FM transmitter with a media case and a laptop with some music on and some jingles and stuff like that. And my job was going around in Afghanistan, particularly training up interpreters to be radio presenters, and the guys that were looking after them to be radio producers. And what their job was to broadcast to the local area that they were operating in. So I'll go into a patrol base or a forward operating base, set this radio up, train the guys up how to use it, and then they would communicate with the local population. So it's playing a
communicate.
bit of
So how did that have to do with the Army, with being psychological operations?
Well, psychological operations for the British Army, it's the basic term is that it's a planned psychological operation directed at a known target audience to achieve a change in attitude and behaviour for military and political ends. That's it. Basically, it's military marketing. It's just it's exactly that. It's pushing out. Yeah, it's pushing out our message to change an attitude and a behaviour. It's like we use like mine awareness if we're in a mine area, letting the local population know how to sort of recognise where a mine is, or how to let them know that we're the good guys. We're coming in to help them with a school project, say, or bringing them clean water to a village where they haven't had it before, that sort of thing. So we'll go in. The radio station is there to push the message out, because in a place like Afghanistan, you can imagine that going out on the ground is very, very dangerous.
Right. So you had radio communication, and not only there, but I'm kind of gathering from what you're saying, calming them down, helping them stay alert, helping them stay supported, helping them know they're not alone, and that there's communication if there's trouble. But not only that, if they need information on how to stay grounded, so to speak, or sane, or to feel safer.
Yeah, it's communicating with the local population. It's a measure of effect, or effects-based warfare, for instance. So effects-based warfare is quite easy to recognise if you've got an artillery dropping a bomb or an aircraft dropping a bomb on a compound and blowing it to smithereens. That is an effect. For psychological operations, a measure of effect is very difficult to judge, because a lot of the time you can't get access to the target audience other than sort of by means of over the radio or dropping leaflets on them, something like that. Right. So I had a really, really big measure of effect in one of our areas in the south of Helmand province back in 2008-9. I was there. I went down into an area called Garmasia. It was a district centre that we had a forward operating base there. The guys had been down there for a while. They'd pushed the Taliban out of the village, pushed them about 10 k's further south to where, or about 10 miles further south to where the sort of the Pakistan-Quetta border was. So they were operating in that area. I came in, set up this radio. I was training the guys up. We were going to go live this following morning after I'd had a week or so's training. We thought we'd have a test that afternoon just to make sure that everything's working. We had a few guys around the compound with radios to listen in to make sure that we were going out. We only went on for half an hour. They played a couple of tunes. They put a little bit of news onto it and put a couple of jingles on, and then shut down. A little while later, there was 2 guys approached the camp holding up bits of paper. Admittedly, the gate guard were a bit jumpy what was going on, so they called them forward. It turns out that these 2 bits of paper were guys wanting tunes played for them and their mates.
Calm down. Music is therapy, though.
Well, I mean, that was a measure of effect, that the radio station could be heard in the village. So the following morning, we went.
Thing your whole life a little bit.
Yeah. So the following morning, we went live. By mid-morning, there was a stream of guys coming up with bits of paper asking for tunes to be played for them and their mates. So by the afternoon, we got quite a stack of sort of requests. So we only went live for a couple of hours in the morning and a couple of hours in the afternoon. So we played on this. We played them tunes and stuff like that. After a couple of days, I noticed that it was just guys that were coming in asking for tunes to be played. So I said to the guys, what about give us a couple of typical Afghan girls' names, and say that their brothers had brought in a request for them and their girlfriends. They hadn't, mind, but this is what we said. So they pushed out a couple of girls' names, and within half an hour, there was a guy came up with half a dozen bits of paper with girls asking for tunes to be played for them and their girlfriends. Now, for a measure of effect, that's massive, because we now know that the radio's working. B, it's getting to the target audience that we want to affect a change in attitude and behaviour. And C, it's working. So from our perspective, instead of dropping a bomb on and blowing something to smithereens, we've now put a radio message in, and we know that it's getting to the target audience. Boom. We've had a massive measure of an effect.
Wow.
So we know that we were on the right track. So that was a massive coup. And when I got back to Lashkar, I had a stack of paper. I had about 2,000 request bits of paper.
So you went from PYOPC to DJ Heale.
Yeah.
DJ Team Heale, dear. British Army. No, but
a radio producer, trainer, you name it, I was it.
So at that time, and that's a really neat story. I've never heard something like that before. So, and you have all these behind you, virtually decorative uniforms. So you don't even know you've done a lot of different things serving your country, and that's probably helped ours as well. And thank you for your service, because I've never, as far as I know, we were always working together.
I've worked with Americans on quite a lot of different operations. In fact, I was working with Americans in Macedonia in 2001, and we were there doing what we call Task Force Harvest. It was a multinational headquarters. The operation was to collect weapons from the National Liberation Army, and it was a successful operation for us. But we were working with Americans at that time, and 9/11 happened.
Oh gosh,
and
that changed a lot.
Yeah, how it unfolded for me. We were just round at the American camp at Camp Able Entry. The guys had gone in to just do a bit of shopping in the PX. I was sat listening to the radio, and the first plane had gone into one of the towers. That didn't sound clever. So I grabbed the guys, we shot back into our ops room, and we had a big ops room with tellies and all that around. And as we got back into the ops room, we saw the second plane going to the other twin tower, and watched the day unfold. Right. The upshot of that was 5 months later, I'm flying into Kabul in the pitch black at night, freezing cold in January 2002.
Well, we all know where we were, as if we were alive at the time that day happened. For sure, it was a shock heard around the world. There's so much more that you've done. Not that that's not enough, but with the rugby and instructor for hang gliding, which I don't know. We're gonna get into all that. I refer to you as like an adrenaline junkie.
Do we have all day?
No, actually, we have till 1. So radio that. But it's time for our first break, and I'm looking forward to hearing more of your story and into what's gotten you into where you are today. But we will get back with that in a second. Please stay tuned. We'll just be just a minute and a half, and we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment.
You're listening to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. We welcome your input at 866-826-1340. Tiffany will be right back after this.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Lucy Lopes, and I'm a real estate agent that supports ending the stigma on mental health with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I am also passionate about helping you buy or sell your home. With times being so difficult, I'm here to help. Contact me at lucylopes.com. That's LUCYLOPES.com. Let me assist you through this pandemic and know that you are not alone.
Hi, this is Tiffany Werner, your host of Moments of Clarity. Living with a mental health disorder is not easy. If you or someone you know are struggling with this, please know it's so important to seek treatment, and I'm here to help. Please visit the website at momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com to view blog posts and resources on this site to help educate and inspire you to take action, because there's no shame in seeking help for mental health. While you're there, please take a few seconds to sign up for my email list. You'll get some extremely valuable educational and entertaining content that can be sent right to your inbox each week. Plus, you'll also get instant and free access to my guide on managing your anxiety. You can also follow me on Twitter at MOC with Tiffany and at Facebook at Tiffany Werner. And once again, the website is momentsofclaritywithtiffany.com. Thank you so much for your support and for listening to your show, because change can only come when we stand together as one.
Are you looking for a great book? If you like to root for the underdog, Joe Potosi's book is a book for you. A real American odyssey that will grab your attention with its fast-moving narrative. You won't be able to put this masterpiece down. When the Dust Settled by Joe Potosi. Go to Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Zulin Press.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
We are back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner. To join in the discussion, call 866-826-1340. Now, here's Tiffany Werner.
Hello, and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Werner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, and I'm your host. And if you're just tuning in, my guest is with us from the United Kingdom, across the pond, and a very accomplished person that has not only served the British Army, but the American Army as well, but just part of it, and then has taken no leaps or bounds, or several actually leaps and bounds, but away from living life to its fullest, I would say. And not that I say, and I'm going to put a disclaimer on this, just because he's done it doesn't mean we all have to. Because I'm not. No, but welcome back to Moments of Clarity, Tim Heale.
Thanks for having me back.
So there's we've done a lot of it with the serving and everything, and with Veterans Day coming up, I'm like thinking I should have had you on next week, but I have a great guest coming on next week too. It's a veteran, but thank you for your
That's a shame. I could come back next week as well.
Another time, but no, back to back, but probably yes. And I'll be happy to be a guest on your show. Sounds amazing. And but you have like a whole season of your life. That's how long. And too bad we only have the hour.
Yeah.
But sailing around the United Kingdom, around the Baltic and back, and things like that, and becoming a hang gliding instructor, and going across the world or around the United Kingdom with your pet cat.
That's
It's
Artie.
Artie, yes. In the picture right here, if you're watching virtually, Artie looks like he's holding on for dear life, and he's got a life jacket on. He's like, most cats hate water, right? So he's like,
He's asking where's the fish.
it looks like you have a leash on him so he doesn't fall. Cat overboard.
Yeah. Well, that's going for a run ashore.
He's like, get me to land.
That was in the dinghy.
It's pretty funny. I have a cat, and my cat does not like seafood. She will eat all sorts of beef, but she won't touch fish or anything. She'd be like, "Why am I here? I don't want water. I don't want seafood. This sucks."
He's a very famous cat. I'll have you know.
Oh yeah, Artie the
Yeah,
cat, the ship
Yeah.
mate. You
He's,
call him the ship's cat, but like,
yeah.
did you teach him any tricks on how to fix the sail?
Well,
Or
This is kind of how it unfolded. We were sailing around the UK a couple of years back, and we'd gone all the way up the west side of the country, and then we went through the Caledonian Canal, and we were coming back down on the east side of the country. For us, there's not an awful lot of places to pull in because of the draft on our boat. So we decided we were going to go from Inverness back round to Gosport in one hit, 630 miles. We started off great. Going into the third night, we'd done just over 300 miles. We're
in
about
a sailboat, right?
Yeah, sailboat. Yeah,
That's
we were about six.
just for us non-nautical people. The sailboat, you basically rely on wind, but it does have a motor.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, it's had a big motor in it, but mainly we actually sailed.
You mostly rely on the wind. If the wind is good, then you don't need the motor, correct?
Absolutely, but if the wind dies down, then you stick the donkey on.
Right.
So we were coming down the east coast with about 300 odd miles in. We were sailing quite well. We're going into dark o'clock at night on the third night. It was one of those really pitch black nights where you couldn't see anything. We put the engine on because we'd had a really dull, dark day, so the solar panels weren't just give the batteries a little bit more of a boost.
We're talking up when you're going around the United Kingdom, right?
We're going around the UK, yeah.
Yeah, so
we're coming down the east side of the country.
It's very rare that you get a very sunny day. It's a lot of overcast or rain and cold.
Yeah,
it depends on which time of year, I guess. But
yeah, this was late September. So we're coming down the east coast. We put a donkey on. We picked up a line of lobster pots, which held us fast. We were only about half a mile off the shipping lane.
What's a donkey and lobster?
Well, a donkey is the engine.
Okay.
It's a technical term for the engine. We call it a donkey.
Okay. So
but we picked up a line of lobster pots, which held the boat fast, and we weren't going anywhere. We're about only
like anchors?
a mile. Yeah, it was just anchored us there. That was it.
What do you call it? A lobster?
Lobster pots. I'm sure you got them in America.
I'm sure. I just don't sail around the world, but we just call them anchors. In Florida, we eat lobsters. Pretty.
Yeah, well, it's how they catch them.
Yeah.
So we're only about half a mile or so off the shipping lane. So I put the call into the Coast Guard just to let them know that we picked up these lobster pots and we were trying to cut ourselves free. They said they'll send out the lifeboat. So the lifeboat came out.
It's still pitch
big
black,
Atlantic
right?
glass. Yeah. I mean, so it's got big searchlights.
Frightening in the middle of the ocean without any light, but beautiful too. Without any city light, you get to see all the stars and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those nights where there are no stars. I mean, we had a lot of cloud cover as well. So, so the lifeboat came out with all these big lights on. One of the lifeboat guys came onto the boat and said, T2 sugars, please. And he kind of took over. So but he's clocked that Artie, I mean, we had our life jackets on. Artie's had his life jacket on as well. So this is where the story's going. So then we end up, they got hold of this story that, I mean, Artie, in truth, slept through a lot of it. but they made a big thing about Artie being rescued by the Royal National Lifeboat Institute. And,
and
consequently,
that article right now, Artie the Ship cat was rescued by the National Guard.
Yeah, National Lifeboat Institute.
Yeah.
And he's got, I think it's a 14-page spread in their yearbook, saved from the waves.
No way. I've got to find that on the next break. Saved from the waves. Artie, what kind of cat did they call him? The ship cat? Or
we call him Artie the Ship's cat.
No, but in the
it's actually a British short hair. It's a big lad.
But what did they call him in the article? They saved a cat off the boat.
Oh yeah, Artie the Ship's cat.
He actually is famous.
Oh, he's famous, yeah. He's almost as famous as
you were
me.
there with you and your wife and yourself, and then Artie the Ship's cat. So you guys got kind of pushed to the wayside. Who cared if they saved you and your wife? They saved the cat.
Yeah. I mean, the British love an animal story.
That is, and how many cats are sailing around the world? I mean, or around
You'd be surprised. There's a lot.
Country.
Yeah,
you never know. Usually you see dogs. I don't know, but
yeah,
I've heard of a lot of people bringing their pets, but this is the first I've heard of a cat, to be honest, or one with a leash and a life jacket on. It's adorable.
Well, we used to take him ashore to let his legs have a run off.
There.
So there he is. It's gorgeous. He's almost as gorgeous as me.
Almost. You guys have the same color hair, but
I know. We have it done special. It comes out of a bottle. It's called Arctic Blonde. They colour each individual hair. It takes a lifetime to put in.
I'm sure he loves it. I'm sure you're not clawed up unless he's declawed. Anyway, so
oh no, he's not declawed. No, that's cruel. That's like cutting your fingers off, isn't it?
No, I know. I don't declaw.
So I had a moment of clarity there, you see.
Yeah. It's just that my cat won't let me comb her or cut her nails or anything like that. But she's a good cat. Anyway,
generally you don't need to cut their nails. You just have scratch posts. That's what they're there for.
As long as they use them
themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
And not the furniture or that kind of stuff. Mine's really good at it, though. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
There's no need to worry about her nails. Besides that, that's not the story. So I wonder how Artie's mental health is. So all these things, being stuck in the Arctic and all of that time to think, after all the radio dispatching, all of these things that you were doing in the army and watching these people not quite watching, but being the voice of all these people that are in need and asking for songs or things to cheer them up and get their minds off of where they are. That was probably, was that a way to escape and kind of decompress from everything you had experienced, to get on a boat and just sail and just go with your thoughts and Artie and your wife and have some peace in the middle of nowhere, that kind of thing? Is that what inspired that?
Yeah, for me, having spent so long in the British Army, I've done an awful lot of operational tours. I've seen an awful lot of bad stuff. And I've managed to keep my mental health fairly stable through all of that. I understand how PTSD comes about. I understand why it comes about. And my last job as a welfare officer, I was part of that job was looking after my people's mental health. And to that end, I've done lots of different courses. We do what we call a TRIM course, which is Trauma Incident Management. So I was a TRIM coordinator and a practitioner. So when there's a traumatic incident, we go in 72 hours after, look at who needs what. We go back in, so we assess everybody and they get help at the time. We go in 30 days later, reassess everybody, see how they're doing, and if they need signposting on to professional help, then we'll do that, and then we'll follow up at the 3 month period, and just to make sure that everybody's okay. And hopefully
there needs to be more of that.
Yeah, by doing that, hopefully that helps prevent guys getting post-traumatic stress disorder.
A lot of them end up with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. So many are taught to just, this is what I signed up for. I don't need to seek help, or they're embarrassed to ask for help, or they think that that's just normal response. The flashbacks, the triggers, the disturbed sleep, the undeserved shame and guilt, and everything what they have witnessed or were told to do or seen, things you can't unsee or process. And I work with a lot. I'm a TRICARE provider, so I do work with a lot of veterans from all sorts of areas, from Marines to Army to Coast Guard to you name it.
Well, that's one of the things that we were actively doing in London Central Garrison as a welfare team. We were as a garrison headquarters, we were actively looking or doing everything we could possibly do to destigmatize mental health issues. And to that end, we had regular meetings, we had regular briefings, we had guys in where we'd talk about those sort of issues. We'd let them know that it's okay not to be okay.
It is.
If they were, if they were having problems. I mean, we did stir up a hornet's nest and made a rod for our own back, actually. The truth be told.
It's okay to not be okay. I already have that as part of my captions because I put that up all the time.
lots of people coming forward, putting their hands
and
up.
It's okay.
To a doctor. Yeah,
no, I mean, seriously, it's okay to not be okay. And the thing is that what's not okay is not to do anything about it. Is we can all somehow heal and live our full potential in life by grieving properly, grieving from survivor guilt, grieving from undeserved shame and guilt, things of that nature. The should-haves, the everything can be a different mindset. And what you did with the radio and how you're handling what you've seen and everything. So you end up in a boat sailing away, and Artie, your cat, becomes nationally famous. I'm going to try to find that.
He's now internationally famous.
And now he's globally famous. And now
globally.
Yep. What was that article called? And we have to take our second break. But you said Artie was
Saved from the Waves. It's the Royal National Lifeboat Institute yearbook.
If any of you guys listening,
2021, I think it was.
Saved by the Waves. Artie the Ship cat would probably be on there. Yeah. Anyway, it's time for our second break, but we're going to be saved from our waves. I'm looking forward to it, and the hang gliding and everything. So just saying that was your self-care and the rugby. Yeah. As I'm sitting there going self-care, you're just going to point something out, which I think the British make fun of American football because we have headgear and padding, which stops concussions. But you guys just full on. Who cares about that? We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, I know. I've got friends from
Love
over
to
there.
talk sport.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll be back with Moments of Clarity in just a moment. If you want to call in, now's the time. 866-826-1340. 866-826-1340. And we'll be back in just a moment with Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. Please stay tuned.
Tiffany Warner, after these messages.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
If you are like most people, you worry with the financial challenges you face today. How do you protect your family from financial ruin? How will you reduce your liabilities and get out of debt sooner? And how can you deal effectively with the constant changes in your job, your career, and your business? Overcoming your financial challenges is like building a house. You must build from the ground up. You must learn how to make more money, save more money, grow your money, and protect your money. Forever Forward Financial specializes in teaching you these 4 basic money skills so you can achieve your dreams and end your worry. Call us today and schedule your complimentary no-obligation meeting to discuss your needs and concerns. Call Scott Bigley at 727-422-7761.
Hi, this is your host, Tiffany Warner from Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. I want to thank you for all your support on ending the stigma on mental health for over the past 7 years and with over 600 episodes, as well as several award nominations and placing as a finalist in 3 categories on the People's Choice Podcast Award last year. If you're listening to this on audio, please visit and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Moments of Clarity with Tiffany and enjoy viewing previous shows in case you miss any live. If you're interested in advertising and would like to promote your company, it is affordable and an effective way to get your company the attention it deserves. I also welcome potential guests as well, and all information can be found on my website at mocwithtiffany.com. Thank you again for your continued support, as change can only come when we stand together as one.
Hi, this is Tiffany Warner, your host of Moments of Clarity. I'd like to give a shout out to musician-songwriter Don Lawson, who wrote, produced, and performed all the vocals and instruments on my Moments of Clarity theme song. Don gained his inspiration as a mental health counselor himself. He's always looking for artists to record his songs, and you can hear more of Don's music at reverbnation.com/Don Lawson. You can also check him out on Twitter at Don Lawson Music. Thank you so much, Don, for your contribution to Moments of Clarity and ending the stigma on mental health. It's awesome.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Now back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany Werner, licensed mental health counselor. To engage in the conversation, call 866-826-1340. Here's Tiffany.
Hello and welcome back to Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. My name is Tiffany Warner. I'm a licensed mental health counselor and I'm your host. And if you're just tuning in, my guest is from the United Kingdom. He's been, I titled this the Adrenaline Junkie because he's been through so many things, from being British Army to American to sailing around the United Kingdom and other places with his cat Artie, and instructor of hang gliding, rugby player, and championships and everything. I don't even think we're going to have time to do all of this, but welcome back to Moments of Clarity, Tim Heale. And I kind of beat you to that. I found this. So if you missed it, they got struggled in their boat in the middle of the night, called for help, and his cat Artie the Ship cat made a 14 made national coverage in this boat, in this book, Saved from the Waves. I looked it up over our break. Commercials were probably a little bit off, but you have the book right there, and I'm like struggling to find that. But yeah, you can just Google Saved from the Waves, Animal Rescue of the RNLI. It's right there. But poor Artie. Is Artie still around with you?
Yeah, he's in the other room asleep at the moment, probably waiting for his dinner. We've got 2 dogs here at the moment as well. We've got a new puppy, and we're looking after a friend's dog, and yeah, he's keeping them in check.
I know, I'm right. I'm thinking
He chases foxes and everything.
I don't know. It's what?
He chases foxes and catches mice on a very regular basis.
So let's get to, since this is not really the show I was expecting to be about Artie, but that's just funny as anything. So you served for the British in all of their ceremonies when you were serving for them, and we've got about 10 minutes, as well as hang gliding instructor, and then rugby. I'm going to let you go, and then motorcycling.
Yeah.
So there's a lot. This would be a good 2-parter. I'm going to have you back to finish your story. However, I'll let you go with whatever you want to address, because with the rugby is pretty amazing. You were positioned scrum half, which I have no idea what that is. I apologize. It's and keep up with American football, but you competed in several times in the British Telemark Championships, and then you were a hang gliding instructor, and then an experienced offshore sailor, and
played American football for the Milton Keynes Pioneers, which I've never heard of them, but I don't know.
I think they're now defunct. This was the back end of the 80s. American football back in the 80s in America, in England was really big.
American football?
Yeah, American football. There was lots of teams around the country. Yeah.
I want you to be transparent. Which one's
Absolutely.
easier, rugby or American football?
They're different games altogether. Basically, I've been playing rugby all my life. I was playing rugby at school. It's a tough game. Don't get me wrong.
I know. You lose any teeth, any concussions, hospitalizations.
Well,
you guys get rough out there without any
scraps.
Do you at least wear a jock strap or anything, like a cup?
Well, you don't worry about minor details.
Okay. I guess.
With rugby, it's just a different technique of tackling and stuff like that. I mean, today's game, the professional game, the Premiership, the World Rugby, they are solid lumps. I'm not sure I'd want to play up against the guys nowadays, but at the grassroots level, the club rugby is just great fun. It's a lot of camaraderie. And it's just good to get out and roll a head in the mud on a weekend. Because we play rugby on a Saturday. Yeah.
We wake up and have a full week and can't wait to do that on Saturday. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Takes us Sunday, best part Monday to get over a game on a Saturday.
You walk into the office or whatever on Monday all bruised up, people thinking you're in a bar fight in America.
Yeah.
Not in England.
No, it's natural. so rugby, the position of scrum half is, I suppose, if you equate it to American football, it's like the quarterback. But
a quarterback, okay.
Yeah, so he's the scrum half is probably one of the smaller guys on the team who puts the ball into the scrum. He takes it off the back of a ruck and passes the ball out.
He's the first one to get rid of it. You guys all like huddle and jump up and down. And he's like, "Take it!"
Yeah,
I would want to put the drum out. Hurry up! Somebody else.
Generally, he's the one that's controlling the game. So he controls the forwards, and he links with the number 10 who controls the backs. So it's a really technical game. It's a bit like American football with a technical. The big difference is that when you get onto the pitch on a rugby game, you're staying on until you're off. So
gotcha.
you play for 80 minutes. So you're 2 40-minute halves. It's hard work. And for the scrum half, he's the one that's doing most of the running because he's having to keep up with the ball.
So I'm going to interrupt you here since we're running out of time.
Yeah. Oh,
everything
sorry.
You've been through,
yes,
from the Army, the 9/11, everything, the sailing, the rugby, the football, were those coping skills for your mental health, would you say?
Absolutely. Yep. The adventurous training side of it, so the skiing, the sailing, the hang gliding, the other side of sports, they all help with your own mental well-being. You have to be
putting that
switched on.
disclaimer. It doesn't have to be those things. Because
It doesn't have to be those.
A little bit dangerous, some of them. But at the same time, for you, that's what you felt like you needed to feel alive, to feel grateful to be alive, that kind of stuff. Is that
absolutely? I mean, it gives you a real moment of clarity.
You want that done, don't you?
All over it like a cheap suit. To be involved with stuff, it's to keep you not only your physical being, but also your mental being. And it does help when you're involved with team sports. When
even that, but the sailing,
working.
The sailing is probably a lot of meditation out there and then wide open with a lot of things to be able to
it's a lot of keeping an eye on what's going on around you as well.
Right. I mean, but a lot of time to think as well.
Yeah, long passages and stuff like that. You have to be aware all the time what's going on. The other vessels on the sea, keeping an eye on what your sails are doing, make sure that you're keeping an eye on what the weather's doing. There's a lot goes on, and it's not just.
I understand,
point it
but
and go,
in
but
between those moments gives you time to think.
yeah,
So,
you
and then
do get
rugby and the football and stuff got your aggression out. It was a way for
yeah,
people to
absolutely.
end up like running or doing something active or getting into other things to help them with their, clarity. That's what I was trying to think of, is that you've been through so many things that are hard, and then you found your passions and went with it. And we're running out of time. This is why I'm kind of trying to wrap up. And you host a podcast, you understand. But that I wanted to basically focus on that's very, very therapeutic when we go through grief and loss or some sort of trauma or whatever, that we don't have to negatively self-destruct and turn to substance abuse or suicidal ideation or things like that. Those are things that you need to see a therapist for. We can, any kind of trauma, we can journal, we can find within ourselves and find something that gives us a sense of purpose, that we can feel alive again. And that, not only that, face our inner triggers and flashbacks and try to cope with them in a different positive way.
Yeah. I think for me, it's taking a positive out of everything. I'm naturally a person that's got my glass at least half full, if not sort of overflowing. So it's the ability to be able to compartmentalize stuff. And I mean, some of the stuff I've seen is horrendous. But it's dealing with it and knowing what you've done, what you've seen, and being able to be comfortable in your own mind that you've done the right thing at the time. And that for me is where I've been able to cope with it. The fact that I've taken positives from what I've done just helps that along the way. So for me, passing on my knowledge, my skills, and looking at other people's problems and helping them along the way, it just gives me a boost. And that's pretty much what my live stream's about on a Thursday. We're talking about taboo subjects.
Your live stream is Ordinary People's Extraordinary Stories. In one of the seasons, you speak solely about your life experiences. And so for the listeners, I highly recommend looking him up at Ordinary People's Extraordinary Stories. His website is buzzsprout.com, but you could just look him up. His Instagram.
You'll find it on that. Or if I want to go onto YouTube, if you just put in Tim Heale 9,
Heale. Also, his Instagram is Tim Heale, Heale, but then the number 9 at the end. Tim Heale 9, and then the link to his podcast and everything is right there to follow and listen in. And you've done great with your experiences, and I look forward to having you back on the show again to hear more.
I'd love to come back on. Love to come back on. I could talk for hours. I can actually talk for England.
But there's so much that we didn't get to really delve into because it's the hour and
barely scratch the surface.
But it's time to wrap up. And but I appreciate so much for your time and for being on Moments of Clarity with Tiffany. And looking forward to keeping in touch and having you back on and hearing more about not just Artie the Ship Cat, but your continued adventures, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Anyway, thanks again. I encourage everyone to follow Tim Instagram, Tim Heale. I think you just Google him, Tim Heale, Heale, and Ordinary People's Extraordinary Stories. It's time for me to wrap up. Thank you guys, everyone, for listening. We're on every Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And ending the stigma on mental health. Please share this with your platforms because change can only come when we stand together as one. Everyone, please take care. Be kind to yourself and to a stranger. You never know what they're going through. Thanks, Ed. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, listeners. And take care. And see you next week.
Don't put yourself down, time for a change. Believe in yourself, time to rearrange. Be your best friend, bring hope to your day. Lose your critic, get out of your way. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity. Now I get it, moments of clarity. To yourself be kind, it will please your mind. Find your joy, trust in you. Put in the time, you'll see how you grow. Many kinds of love you get to define. Find self-love, you're so well alive. Now it clicks, moments of clarity. Now I hear moments of clarity.